Hey, what's up? This is Sam from Zroder Bet. In this video, I'll be doing my full card predictions, picks, and analysis for UFC on ESPN 29, Cannonier versus Gastelum. I'll divide these videos as follows. First, I'll talk about all the picks and the bets, then on to the breakdowns, and at the end, I'll show you my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. The only disclaimer here, guys, is the way I'm doing things. If you'd like to follow anything that I'm doing here, feel free to do it as long as you take full responsibility, alright? And I'll start off by showing the previous results, then on to the main content of the video, alright? So just to real quick show you guys the results of the previous card. So on UFC 265, I got a loss of nearly 3.3 units, which gives a loss of 40% in the money that I bet in the card. My lock of the night came on top, which was Cyril Gunn, but the amount that I bet didn't cover for the losses that I had, especially on Anderson dos Santos and a couple more fighters. So, but this is the results, guys. You know that I'm transparent. If you're near around here, this is the way I do things. I put up everything that I do. It's transparent. I don't hide anything. And basically, I'm accumulating profit of 660% this year. So if I'm talking about profit per event, or 110% or 110 units from the start of the channel, which was July last year. So for these years, I have a profit of 50 units more or less. These are my stats in terms of the right picks, when I bet the juice and when I bet the dog, my accuracy. I divided these bets into high, medium, and low quality bets, so you guys can see the results per segment in this chart as well. And this is the evolution through time for this year. So I started off quite well. Last month was a little bit disappointing. This month, previous month, July, also had a small loss, especially due to the last card. But August is starting. Hopefully things will catch up here, and then I'll come back to the winning column. Alright, so on to this fight. Just general comments. I don't think this is an easy card to bet, guys. It's quite tricky fights here, but I do think there's some value in some things, but everything here is a grain of salt. I'm not too confident on any of this, but let me save this for the breakdown. So real quick, all the picks and the bets. I'm picking Kelleher. I'm betting him 1% of my money. Liana Martinez versus Jesse Strader. I'm picking Liana Martinez, but not betting the fight. Abdul Alhassan versus Antonio Braga Neto. I'm betting Alhassan. Cortney Casey, Liana Jojua. Pick and betting Casey. Vink Pichel versus Austin Hubbard. I'm picking Pichel but not betting the fight. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Roosevelt Roberts. Picking Roberts but not betting. Saldana versus Austin Lingo. I'm picking Saldana but not betting the fight. Josiane Nunes versus Malecki. I'm picking and betting Malecki. Ramiz, Brahimaj and Sasha Palatnikov. Picking and betting Brahimaj. Madsen versus Clay Guida. I'm picking here. I think I was picking Guida, but I see here that I put that I'm picking Madsen, but I'm not sure here. Let me see on the breakdowns again. I have in my head that I'm picking Guida. Alright, so Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. I'm thinking Pantoja but not betting the fight. Right, so like I told you guys, it's a quite tricky one. The biggest bet that I have on this card is Malecki and Cortney Casey. At least Cortney Casey is probably my most confident pick here. All right, so on to the breakdowns. And guys, by the way, I opened up a new Patreon tiers. I'll show you guys. So stick until the end. I think you'll like what I have to show you as the lock of the night Patreon tier. Alright, so between Martinez and Jesse Strader, guys, I start off by a quite difficult fight to call. Man is the better fighter here. He has better straight punches. He has a little bit more experience. He's the better grappler of the two. But Strader is such a tough guy. If you haven't seen this guy fighting, he pushes the pace. He likes to throw lots of hooks. Then he goes to the body. He shoots. Has a quite decent top game, quite decent wrestling game. Martinez is the better grappler, like I said, but from his back, he could even submit Strader, but it's not gonna be easy. So most likely this will play out in the feet, and I think Martinez should get the better out of the exchanges. But like I told you guys, Strader is tough. This guy will push, and if he starts connecting, I think he has enough power to hurt Mana or even finish Martinez. So that's why I'm picking Mana here. I was tempted to parlay him, but ended up passing on this one. On my stats here, Strader from his back, he's not the best, so if Mana takes him down, he has a good advantage from top. Probably is the safest patch to victory. But Mana, he tends to strike more than to wrestle, so I think he's gonna try to keep it standing. to show off his straight punches. You know, has lots of KOs under his record, so probably he's gonna fish for the KO here. But to me, he's gonna risk doing that. Obviously, he can win. He can finish Strader. Yeah, Strader has been finished before, you know, and Mana hasn't lost by TKO. But still, I think Strader, if he starts connecting, has enough power, like I told you guys. But Mana a little bit better camp, more experience in combat, you know. So my pick here is Mana. I'm gonna go inside of the distance. A good bet here, guys, in my opinion, round betting under 2.5, because I expect that this finishes inside of the distance to either way, most likely Martinez. But anyway, I like this line a little bit. If it opens up, it's probably gonna be able to find, because these are bantamweights fighting, and people don't expect bantamweights to finish the fight. So I think it's gonna be possible to get this line here, or even this one, you know. So I'm very much interested into round betting here, right? And these are my calculations, guys, for this fight. Jason Knight versus Fabio Cherant, another very tricky one. You know, Knight is the pick here, guys. He should be able to use that physical skill, you know, get inside of Cherant, throw him to the ground and just hammer him on the ground. Cherant on the feet, he's not bad. When he starts throwing, he's dangerous. He's a big guy, explosive himself. But when they start grappling, it's just odd, you know. Cherant's actually not a bad grappler. Actually, he's not a good grappler. The problem that he has, I think, 5 wins by submission, if I'm not mistaken. And he has a good guillotine, but that's pretty much it, you know. If he gets flattened out, he doesn't have much skills, you know, to finish guys, you know, like from his back with arm bars, triangles, this type of things, you know. So most likely it's Knight getting inside, hammering Cherant. If he survives the guillotine, I think he does. But again, it's a tricky one. Cherant is under the better camp. He's not a bad striker, you know. If he starts going, he can finish Knight on the feet as well, you know. Knight, he's not technical anywhere. So guys, pick your poison here. I'm gonna be staying away from this fight just because it's quite a weird fight to call and to bet, especially because a Knight is a minus 300 favor. So to me, it's too much. So I'm sorry about this, guys. I think I messed up some slides here. All right. So yeah, just to finish the thoughts on Knight, he's a minus 300. To me, it's too much, you know. To bet Cherant also, it's more like a low-level fight, so maybe there's value on Cherant, but I don't want to touch this fight unless Cherant inside of the distance, you know. This maybe has some decent value if you can find plus 400, you know. Rather than that, I would stay out of this fight. These are my calculations, guys. Feel free to pause here. So let me go back to this Braga Neto versus Razak Alhassan. I think I didn't put the correct slide here, so let me start from this one. So Antonio Braga Neto versus Abdul Razak Alhassan. This is an interesting one as well, you know. If you see these guys, I expect this to be a low-level fight, you know, not because Antonio Braga Neto doesn't have talent. I think he has, but he has 3 years layoff now, and he had 3 years layoff before. So if he has one fight in 6 years, guys. If you watch his Instagram, and please do it if you're gonna bet this fight to either way, he looks like he's off, you know. I don't think he's training much. I don't know what's happening here. Actually, if somebody knows, let me know. I didn't quite do the research here if he had 3 fight contracts with the UFC and he was not able to break that contract or something. To me, it's just weird that this guy is still fighting, you know. He used to be a force with the BJJ, you know. Lots of credentials, you know, legit BJJ game, but the way he looks, guys, I just don't like it. He's fighting Alhassan that doesn't have the technique himself, you know. He's a judo thunder, but he gets pretty much easily get taken down. He gives his back while standing. So you could argue that Braga Neto has the style to beat him, which I would agree, but I don't think Braga Neto gonna be able to just fight the full round, basically, you know. If Braga Neto gonna win this, has to be on the first round on my eyes, you know. Has to go for the body lock, take the back and finish. That's the only way I see him winning, you know. Unless he brings something, I don't know, in 2 weeks he becomes like Mr. Fitness, which I don't think gonna happen, you know. Abdul Razak is physical for the division. He's competent, he's strong, you know. And I expect him to, you know, survive the first grappling exchange and then just KO Braga Neto. That's what I think gonna happen here. It's quite weird to bet, you know. It's mostly a fade on Braga Neto. I'm going to Razak by TKO. I'm gonna be betting him just, I think, Antonio Braga Neto is way too off, in my opinion, no. And also Abdul Razak by TKO may be a very interesting prop. You know, if you like Braga Neto, go sub round 1. I may do that myself to try to protect, to hedge my bet a little bit. But yeah, definitely not an easy one. Okay, these are my calculations. So we've covered this one. Casey Kenny versus Liana Jojua. Like I told you guys in the spreadsheet, this is probably my most confident pick. Casey Kenny, good straight. Casey Kenny. Sorry guys. Cortney Casey. I'm sorry. Cortney Casey versus Liana Jojua here. So Cortney Casey, good straight punches. You know, wrestling quite okay. You know, but she's good from her back. She has good arm bar. She can chain submissions together. She's not that easy to hold down because she has skills there. She can create scrambles and whatnot. Quite experienced girl, you know. Her problem is the takedown defense. You know, it's the lack of power. Let's put it this way, lack of size. She was quite a force in the strawweight division. Now in the flyweight, I think she lacks a little bit power, but she makes it up a little bit on technique. She's fighting Jojua here. Well, she's not a bad fighter. She's a tough girl, but I don't know. I don't see anything special, to be honest, guys. Striking's pretty, you know, okay. She can throw 1-1-2. Once she falls back, she tries to, you know, again, throw some straight punches. She's not bad from top, but I think if she takes top position, she takes a risk to be being submitted by Casey. The only way she can win here, by the way, Jojua, in my opinion, she has to take this to the ground and survive the grappling. I'm not sure she's going to be able to do it because Casey has poor takedown defense, but has some takedown defense, and I think there's a decent chance that Cortney Casey finishes Jojua by an armbar or something. So to me, it's definitely a juice here. You know, I'm parlaying Casey. If you like Jojua, go by decision. I may do that myself if I can find this line, like Jojua by decision plus 450. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find that, but if I do, I will take the hedge bet. But Cortney Casey to me here, I'm picking her by decision, but like I said, submission possible. She could even KO Jojua by accumulating damage, round 3 type of thing, you know. If Jojua starts pushing the pace, you know, get over aggressive. But I don't think it's gonna happen. Most likely it's either a submission or decision for Casey, right? So 60% favorite Casey in my opinion. Vince Pichel versus Austin Hubbard, a good matchup, very tough fight to call. If you guys see the stars, I have them basically rated the same. A little bit different styles. Pichel a little bit more aggressive, you know. More experienced, at least in the high level competition, does a little bit better job with his wrestling. He's fighting Hubbard, who has good straight punches himself, doesn't pack that much power, not that physical as Pichel, but he's younger here, he has good straight punches, excellent takedown defense, not easy to hold down. You know, both of these guys good camps, both of them are tough and solid. Pick your poison, guys. I think this is a very close fight, could be split decision, so if you're betting either of these guys, I don't blame you. I will pass, you know. I would like to take actually the over 2.5 if I can. I'm putting here that I would like that at plus 140. I don't think it's going to be possible to find this line, but something around plus 100, plus money, and the over 2.5 rounds for this fight would be an interesting one in my opinion. There's not much to break down rather than that. Gonna be a back and forth battle, guys. Both of these guys gonna land on the feet. Pichel gonna try to shoot, Hubbard stuffs that, then he shoots, Pichel stuffs or gets taken down. They're gonna be scrambling, they're gonna be fighting. It's gonna be basically what I expect here. Close fights, 50-50 nearly, that in my opinion. No, I'm going Pichel a little bit as a small favorite, 5% small favorite, just because I think he can use the wrestling a little bit better. He could just steal rounds based on that. He also hits a little bit harder, so that may be a little bit better in judges' eyes. A little bit more chance to finish Hubbard than the other way around, in my opinion. Pichel is a little bit, not that he's tougher, they're quite both same toughness, let's put it this way, but since Pichel hits a little bit harder, I have him just slightly, a little bit more chance to finish Hubbard. Alright, so, but either way, this is nearly 50-50. Bahamondes versus Roosevelt Roberts. Another interesting one. Bahamondes, actually I was pretty confident on this guy in his last outing against John McDessie. I lost that bet. It's pretty disappointing for me. He, you know, I knew his problems, you know, and I thought that he would adapt to that, but he didn't. The problem of this guy is the defense, you know, basically. You could rate him 2 stars on the defensive striking. I rated 3 because he's so long and he controls range well. But if you start pushing the pace on this guy, he's gonna get hit and it's chin up and he wears the damage. But he's basically a very skillful striker, super tall, 6'2", 6'3", I don't know, for the division, long, big one. Roberts, also super tall, 6'3", a little bit skinnier, leaner, but quite decent striking, quite decent grappling, you know. I'll be honest with you guys, you know, I'm back and forth here. If you're gonna count the stars, probably Bahamondes has the edge here. I think he excels a little bit better with the striking, basically, you know. The rest is quite the same. I think he's a little bit tougher too, but I ended up going Roberts. I think he's gonna be able to use his clinching game better in this fight. He's not an easy guy to hit, you know. I think he can like move the head, get inside Bahamondes, shoot, you know, make Bahamondes' life a little bit more difficult. So I ended up going him by decision, but not confident, you know, 50-50 again here. Tough to bet. I would probably take the, you know, maybe Bahamondes by TKO plus 600 I'm putting here. Maybe that's an interesting one, because I think he has more chances to finish Roosevelt. Or Roosevelt, Roberts by decision, or even Bahamondes by decision. So again, quite tricky one again, guys. But interesting one. I think it's quite a good matchup, quite interesting fight. None of them super technical, but gonna be a good battle because it's pretty evenly matched. Okay, so these are my calculations. Austin Lingo versus Luis Saldana. This is a good one as well. Lingo, super tough guy, moves forward, you know, likes to throw bombs, shoot, get to the ground, keeps throwing and hammering guys, pushes the pace, you know, good cardio, good toughness. He's fighting Saldana, who is a long guy for the division, tall. Great straight punches, tough to hit, you know, he's good in 1-2, get an angle, crack, you know, side kick, leg kick, get an angle, 1-2 again. Tough to deal with this guy, but if someone gonna deal with him well, it's gonna be Lingo, because Lingo gonna take his chance, he's gonna get inside, gonna try to out-grapple Saldana. Saldana is a decent grappler, you know, he can create scrambles, he's long, he's not easy to take down, good camp, etc. So gonna be I expect this to be a war as well, you know. I think Saldana has a little bit more chances here because he's a little bit more accurate with the strikes. I think he can catch Lingo coming in, you know, do more damage. But Lingo again, tough, gonna try to take it to the ground. I'm tempted to bet Saldana here. I ended up passing, you know. I think it's more safe to pass here, you know. But if you're gonna force me to bet, probably with the parlay Saldana, you know, because like I told you guys, I think he has more chance to finish this fight. But he can be finished himself. He has KOs under his in his losses. Lingo, not the biggest puncher, but pressure fighter. You know, if he lands clean, he can also put Saldana out. So again, tough one. Could go basically either way. Let's put it this way, you know. But Saldana, to me, I think I put him as a 55% favorite, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think Saldana maybe inside of the distance may be interesting, or even the under 2.5 at plus 170. I think. Not impossible to find this line, may appear, you know. So yeah, I would consider that, you know, because rather than that, it's tough to tell who's gonna win by decision. I have Saldana with a little bit more chances, but Lingo can definitely win, especially by decision, you know. So again, pick your poison here. Tough one to call, but I'm going Saldana. Expect him to land a little bit cleaner and hit more angles. All right. Josiane Nunes versus Malecki. This is an interesting one. It's a very interesting one, I think, because Josie, if I'm not mistaken, she's the shortest bantamweight. She's like 5'1", 5'2", and Malecki, she's probably the tallest, 5'11", and it's a massive reach discrepancy here as well. Guys, this is easy to break down. Malecki, she's a Muay Thai striker, you know, but she's the one that plods forward, takes chances. She's super tough. She's so big and. She's tough, man. She can get hit a lot, and she just doesn't fade. But she's fighting Josiane here, who is a very hard hitter. You know, this girl hits hard. You know, it's like manpower. You know, and my concern here, guys, is basically the leg kicks, especially the calf kicks. If Josiane can time that, I think she can damage Malecki pretty bad. But I'm not sure she can, you know. She's in her UFC debut. I think she's gonna have a lot of jitters, you know. She's not under a big camp, so I'm not sure she's gonna have a girl the size of Malecki to train with, you know. If she's gonna train with men, I'm not sure if they have like, you know, similar body style or something. And it's never the same, you know. So I think Malecki gonna win this one. I think she's gonna, you know, use a little bit her range. She has to be careful with those leg kicks, but even if she get leg kicked, she can throw her right hand, on Josie's face, which is not gonna be fun to eat. So I expect Malecki to push forward and basically wear on Josie, use her superior cardio, superior skills. She can also take it to the ground. Malecki, better grappler here of the two. Josiane Nunes has a nasty guillotine, so yeah, it's quite weary for Malecki. If she's gonna shoot and leave the neck out there, she can be finished by guillotine. So I think Malecki by decision is the safest pick, maybe the safest bet. Even though she could finish Josie, or Josie inside of the distance, or by TKO may be interesting because, like I said, she has a nasty guillotine, and if she gets those leg kicks, it's really also very damaging. So yeah, this is my breakdown here, guys. I'm betting Malecki. It's one of my biggest bets, but with this concern, right? I'm not sure if she's gonna shoot, leave the neck out there. I'm not sure how many leg kicks she's gonna eat. I don't expect much. I think she's gonna fight smart, but she's also inexperienced, only 4 fights, so be careful with that anyway. Okay, these are my calculations, guys. Brahimaj versus Sasha Palatnikov. It's rather an interesting one. To be honest with you guys, here I'm gonna be fading Sasha a little bit. He's not a bad fighter, quite okay guy, pretty much all rounder, super tough. We saw how many shots he can eat, and he can just walk forward, keep coming. But he's fighting a grappler in Brahimaj. I couldn't find much footage on Brahimaj, unfortunately. I saw some highlights and his last bout against Max Griffin. Against Max Griffin, he looked pretty poor, in my opinion. He showed his toughness, showed that he can be calm and try to use some striking, which is good. But he never shoot. If he's a no-gi master, as he has the fame of, he's a no-gi champion, looks like. So if he's really like that, I expect that he takes to the ground and finish Sasha. Sasha's not the biggest guy, not the best takedown defense, not the best grappler, so I expect that he finishes this pretty easily. But if for some reason he comes with a weird game plan, which is not impossible, he can lose this fight, again, Palatnikov is tough, but I think the value is on Brahimaj, in my opinion, So I'm betting him with this concern, inexperienced guy, not the best game plan, probably, Let's see, like I told you guys, mostly fading Palatnikov here. Let's see what happens. Brian Kelleher versus Domingo Pilarte. Interesting fight here. Actually, I think I forgot to take off on the star on Pilarte striking. So Pilarte is a tall, long guy for the division. He's 6 feet tall, quite rangy. Likes to use kicks from the outside, basically. Can throw an 1-2 up down the middle. Quite good when he throws, The problem with this guy, when he starts getting hit, he gets hurt. He pulls back straight, chin up, He doesn't like being pressured. That's why I'm putting him 2 stars on the defensive striking. Pretty good grappler, not the best wrestler, but when he grapples, he's pretty good, He's a long guy, he has technique, and he tries to be tough out there, but like I told you guys, he's not the most physical, can be hit and hurt. He's fighting Kelleher, who is a competent guy from the division, very experienced, 3 times more fights than Pilarte. Kelleher proved his toughness. I expect that he moves forward. He tries to, get into Pilarte's face, start cracking him. He can take it to the ground, which could give him some trouble, because Pilarte is long, he's a good grappler. Pilarte can take to the ground like panic wrestling, which gives a chance for Kelleher by a guillotine. Even though I don't think this would be smart of Kelleher, I'd like him actually choose his wrestling defensively, but we know Kelleher, we know that he likes the guillotine, we know that he likes to finish guys. So I expect that Kelleher finishes Pilarte, could even be by guillotine, even though I think the TKO is more chances. But yeah, I think Kelleher is quite a decent favorite here, guys. He has the experience to do it. Pilarte to win here, he either stays on the outside all the time, hitting angles, hitting running, and or makes it a grappling match. I don't think it's gonna be easy to do both, either of the two, sorry, because he doesn't have much experience on the striking. I don't like much his defense, Pilarte's. And he's not the best wrestler. Kelleher is the better wrestler of the two. He can easily stuff those takedowns. He can give the body lock, in the back, which gives me some concern. This is my concern to this matchup. If Pilarte takes his back while standing, finishing him by dragging to the ground or something, or Kelleher goes for the guillotine like I told you guys, ends up on the bottom, gives the back and gets choked. So this is the risk to me in this fight, but rather than that, Kelleher to me has the experience, and to me the value is on Kelleher on this one, alright? So these are my calculations. Maybe this under prop, I think it may appear this line, even though most of these guys have quite some finishes in their record, so maybe not gonna have this line, but if they show up, under 2.5 at plus 150, something like this. I like this line a little bit because, like I told you guys, Pilarte could also get a submission or something. Okay. Mark Madsen versus Clay Guida. Interesting matchup, Like I told you guys, I was picking Guida here. Let me fix my spreadsheet. So interesting match between Mark Madsen and Guida. Mark Madsen, basically a wrestler, tried to pick up his striking through the years, but not quite there. Still quite stiff with the striking. Not much power, He basically uses his striking to set up his takedowns, So he's fighting Clay Guida here. He's a veteran. This guy has over 50 fights. It's just ridiculous, He's known to be a cardio machine, a super tough guy, He's wild too, in terms of the striking. He swings wildly. He's a good wrestler, a good counter wrestler. But obviously the advantage here in the wrestling department is Mark's, To me, Mark, to win here, he would have to submit Guida by an arm triangle or something, or wear on him for all the rounds. Not impossible, but I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure that Madsen has that much skills, To me, he's not proven yet himself. That's why I'm going Guida here. Guida is like a plus 140 favorite, which would make an interesting bet on Guida. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm tempted to bet in Guida here. For now, I didn't take the bet, but I don't know, maybe I will be taking a look how he looks in the waiting. The concern here is Guida's age, one, and second, if he's gonna fight smart, if he's gonna actually be able to stuff some of those takedowns, make Madsen work, and then try to make it a striking match. He has the training partners for that for sure. But I'm not sure. This guy doesn't have the best game plans, has quite some loss by submissions, So, but either way, to me the values on Guida definitely a dog or pass here to me, guys. These are my calculations. To me it's a 50-50 in terms of expecting what's going to happen, but could shift to either side depending on preparation basically on Guida, I think Guida comes prepared. I think he wins this one, and there's actually a chance by TKO as well, alright? So I duplicated this one. Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. Good fight, both of these guys super talented, Pantoja, actually this guy has the skills to be the champion, but he doesn't have the game plans, he doesn't have the execution in the cage, He basically finds himself brawling, fighting always the same style, not using much footwork, not fighting smart. But he's great overall. This guy has power. He has the technique on the feet. He's a great BJJ player, good wrestler, super tough guy, super tough to finish. The raw dog, Brandon Royval, very unorthodox guy, super tough himself. But the physical part here is on Pantoja's side. I think he probably has more chances to finish Royval, because Royval, he makes some mistakes while standing. He has the chin up, he has those unorthodox moves. It's tough to predict what he's gonna do, but if someone gonna stand the ground and fight him is gonna be Pantoja, Pantoja gonna hold in there and swing hard. I think he catches Royval, finishes him either by TKO or either on the ground with some guillotine or whatever. Probably guillotine is more likely here, But yeah, Royval, I don't know, guys. This guy's so talented and so tough. He has a chance here. Like I told you guys, I don't trust Pantoja on the game plan. I'm pretty sure that he's gonna stand his ground and just try to bang. Whereas if he took this to the ground, it would be much better for him. Play top game, ground and pound. Avoid submissions, more ground and pound type of thing. Because Royval accepts the takedown pretty easily. But yeah, Pantoja by the pick. Inside of the distance. Maybe this line is interesting. Could be. I think it's possible to find Pantoja inside of the distance, or even Pantoja by submission, because I think Royval doesn't have many losses by submission, Could happen, so maybe something like this, but in terms of a bet, quite complicated a little bit, Chase Sherman versus Parker Porter, sorry. Interesting one here. Yeah, it's more like it's a good heavyweight matchup. Sherman, big guy, talented guy, good straight punches. Again, another guy that has talent but doesn't have the execution. Chin up all the time, finds himself brawling, finds himself frustrated in the cage. He's fighting Porter, who is a big heavyweight, not that much experience, but executes pretty well in the cage. I think he does a good job there. He knows when his strengths, his detriments. He uses the clinch pretty well. Porter. He has some power. This guy's a big guy, but I think Sherman has the edge in terms of striking, straighter punches, more accuracy, more volume. But Porter can get inside, make him Sherman move back, clinch, make him worried, make him grapple a little bit, then make his hands a little bit easier. So to me, Sherman should win this one. He should win comfortably, but again, I don't trust much Chase Sherman because of the execution, that chin up. He doesn't like to grapple, Chase Sherman. And Porter probably knows that. Probably he's gonna use a good game plan here and try to make a close fight. I think he has a chance. And Porter, actually, it's rather interesting. He's training with William Knight, and take a look in his Instagram page. Take a look of his size. I'm surprised William Knight looks pretty much the same size as Parker Porter, which means he's either leaning out, which I think is most likely, or William Knight is just ridiculous. We know that William Knight is ridiculous in terms of physical strength, but I think Parker Porter is leaning out a little bit, which is going to be rather interesting because he was such a massive heavyweight in terms of being stocky and like big through the chest, legs, and waist and all this stuff. But I think he's leaning out, so gonna be interesting to see if he's gonna actually try to push the pace on Sherman and wear on him, using a better cardio, And Sherman has a great cardio himself, so it's gonna be an interesting battle. I'm gonna be passing on this one. If you're gonna force me to bet, I probably would go Sherman. I think he has more chances, but again, at these lines, guys, I don't like this too much. All right, these are my calculations. And on to the main event: Kelvin Gastelum versus Jared Cannonier. Great matchup, actually. Great matchup for Cannonier. He has the size, has the power here. Gastelum, a tough matchup for any guy, especially except for Robert Whittaker, who dominated him. But we know how tough Kelvin Gastelum is. We know how well-rounded he is. This guy proved himself excellent with the defensive grappling. It's incredible how he defend those takedowns and create those scrambles. He basically cannot be out-grappled. Jacare tried, and Chris Weidman tried. They couldn't. Actually, Weidman finished him, but it was tough. So this guy, when he faces grapplers, he excels. But he's not facing a grappler here. He's facing a fearsome striker, a long guy with nasty power. Cannonier doesn't have the best technique in the world. Even though boxing is pretty decent. But it's basically 1-2, but it's so straight and so powerful that he makes his career based on that. He is also not easy to take down, to hold down. He's super strong, super athletic. So it's a little bit of battle of styles. Gastelum could win here, guys, but he has to grapple here with Cannonier. If you're gonna force me to bet, I would go Gastelum, especially because he's like a plus 140 dog here. But I think Cannonier has a little bit more chances. I think he does a little bit more damage on Gastelum, even though Gastelum has more chances with the grappling. I think Cannonier is big and strong enough to get the sprawl, and Kelvin Gastelum was not the best wrestler, even though he's not bad. He's not the best. I think even if Gastelum takes Cannonier down, Cannonier gives him the back and stands up basically using his strength and the speed, athleticism type of thing. So I'm going Cannonier. I'm going by decision due to Gastelum toughness, but like I told you guys, to me Cannonier has more chances to finish this one. If it goes to the decision, as I'm putting here, to me it's basically go either way by decision, but I think Cannonier does a little bit more damage. So Gastelum by decision. As an underdog, this is probably the best bet of this matchup. This is probably the way I'm gonna be going to this fight, because I expect Jared Cannonier to win, but again, he's fighting a veteran here, a tough guy with a great chin. Alright. So if you're still with me here, thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys' time with me here. If you wish to support the channel, I appreciate that even more, because it gives me quite some time, you know, to put up these videos. Obviously the analysis I do myself because I'm betting this as well, but to put this up gives me some extra time, so I do appreciate you guys' support. As I told you guys, I have now the lock of the night in top 2 parlay tiers. As the name says, that's what I'm looking for. In this particular card I don't have this the lock of the night, but I'll be talking about in these $5 tiers of let me put it the best parlays, you know, that you guys could put up, and I'll add the extra prop here. So this it's a rather little bit cheaper package, which gives more people a chance to support me. So show your appreciation to the channel. You know, I've been around here for quite some time, so if you don't have much condition, please, you can show some appreciation. For $10 you have obviously what the $5 tier has, plus the early releases. I also, all this material that I'm showing you guys, the betting strategy and the analysis. I have, by the way, some comments here that I put as a sum up, you know, that you guys can read more with more time, etc. You know, for $10 I try to watch at least 1 week ahead, you know, and put up already the parlays that I'm going to be doing. For $15 it's line by line all the prop bets that I'm taking, so it's a spreadsheet just like this one, you know, but I put up the props that I'm taking. For this card particularly I don't have yet the props because they haven't released, you know, but just to show you guys how this look like. And for the $50 tiers, which the ultimate package, basically everything that I'm doing line by line. As an example here, I hit one of the columns that showed the amount that I'm betting in respect to my patrons there. But for example, as I spoke to you guys, I got via Malecki, I put some money there when she was minus 120. You know, from previous cards, I parlayed Morales from previous cards, so he's carrying over. If Brahimaj and Malecki win, I would be cashing at a plus 250 rate in this one, just carrying over from a previous card. You know, then some other parlays that I'm doing here, you know, so also a card on the next card, like I'm betting JJ Aldrich, as you guys see here. So this is the $50 package, obviously everything that I'm doing, and I put up here the days that I'm adding, so it's quite easy to read as well, right? So if you trust me from previous time, as I told you guys, there's no promise of profit or anything, but rather this is a winning strategy long term, as I've been showing it to you guys for quite a while. All right, so I hope you guys appreciate this. If you please like, subscribe, consider supporting the channel. I'll talk to you next time. This is from Zrodder Bet, bring the best, most consistent and transparent betting strategy for you.